Hello and welcome to It's Your Business with Mario Toneguzzi. Joining me today is Laura Jones, who is Executive Vice President of the Canadian Federation of Independent Business. Thanks for joining us today, Laura.
Oh, thanks so much for having CFIB on the show.
I wanted to talk to you a little bit about CECRA, I hope I'm getting this acronym right, the Canada Emergency Commercial Real Estate Program, right? Assistance
Close.
program.
Rent assistance, commercial rent assistance.
Rent
Yeah,
assistance.
no, it's an alphabet
I knew,
soup, isn't it?
I knew I was going to get it wrong. It's such a long name. Anyways, so the government just the other day announced that it was extending it for a month. First of all, CFIB's response to that, you're happy that they are at least extending that program?
Well, we're certainly happy that there's still something in place that will help some tenants with their rent. Rent is a really important bill for small businesses. It's a big bill for small businesses. So it's good that there's still something in place, but we've been very, for months, we've been saying that the CECRA program, the Canada Emergency Commercial Rent Assistance Program, needs a big overhaul, and that overhaul has yet to come. So we're kind of hopeful that this is a placeholder for that while they work on that major overhaul, because the program itself is deeply flawed.
Okay, let's talk about being deeply flawed. A couple of things. Let's start first of all with the issue of landlords having to opt in on this. Why is this kind of a big issue, I guess?
Yeah, so great question, and it's been a huge challenge that landlords basically have to opt in to the program for tenants to access it. So your revenues have to be down by 70%, an average of 70% for April, May, and June. That's one criteria. And the second big one is that your landlord has to agree and apply for the program. And for many, many tenants, what this has meant is they've been shut out of the rent relief that they need because they qualify in terms of their revenues being down 70%, but their landlord, for various reasons, doesn't want to apply for the program. So you can have a dry cleaner on one side of the street that's saying, and I've talked to my dry cleaner, she's in this position, she pays $9,000 a month in rent. It's a big bill for her. She's going to be okay because her landlord is providing some rent relief. The dry cleaner on the other side of the street has not had access to rent relief and is on the verge of shutting down because they've been 6 months without any help for that significant bill.
Yeah, exactly. So if in the ideal world, what would the CFIB like to see the government do when it comes to rent assistance?
So we're looking for three things. First of all, we think rent assistance needs to continue through the fall. And it would be nice if the government announced that in one go. Right now, they're going month to month. And as you pointed out earlier, the September one didn't even come until after September 1st. So that's really difficult for business owners who are kind of on their edge of their seats about what's going to happen with this major expense. So the first thing is have the relief go through the fall. The second thing is take the landlord out of the equation. So anything that's designed to go forward through the fall, just simplify it and take the landlord out of the equation. That's just not working. And the third thing would be to find a way to get some relief to those businesses that have been 6 months without any help, because it's just such it's kind of an off the charts unfairness to make your business's future depend on whether your landlord agrees to rent relief or not. And so we really think there needs to be find a way to get the government portion of that relief to businesses retroactively. So those are the three things that we'll be looking for in rent relief.
Okay. Well, you know what? It's obviously been very difficult 6 months for almost every business out there, every small business out there. What are the consequences that you folks see right now for not getting this rent assistance thing right?
So I think there are fairly significant consequences for not getting it right. Our survey work that we do with businesses right across Canada is showing that we're projecting about 1 in 7 right now is businesses is at risk of permanent closure. Now that's on top of the closures you've already seen. So
Yeah.
that's going forward how many businesses are at risk. And I think and there's a range around that number. It could be higher, it could be lower. And of course, we want to move to the lower end of the range. And I think that very much depends on rent relief, because the other thing we're hearing is that rent is make or break for many businesses. So the consequences of not getting this right are pretty high, because for every business that goes down, many of them have employees. So those are jobs that won't come back. And they contribute, of course, to our community to our communities in many other wonderful ways that are a little bit less tangible than pointing to number of jobs, but nevertheless are important. And whether they're providing a destination for us to go, walk with a loved one and meet up with someone, they get eyes on the street. You're seeing that in a lot of downtown where things have gotten a little bit. In some cases, there's been more vandalism and violence. Businesses provide a very important job when they're kind of eyes on the street in terms of what's going on. So, I think it does have very big consequences for us as a society. And of course, these businesses support families as well.
Okay, great. Thanks for joining us today, Laura.
Thank you.
Okay, that was Laura Jones, who is Executive Vice President of the Canadian Federation of Independent Business. This has been It's Your Business with Mario Toneguzzi. Thanks for joining us today.